Conscious solitude is not about hiding from the world or isolating yourself. It's about intentionally choosing time alone to reconnect with your own presence. It's the practice of being powerfully at ease in your own company, where silence becomes a source of strength instead of discomfort. In this space, you learn that solitude is not loneliness. It is clarity, peace, and empowerment. By stepping away from constant noise and distraction, you begin to live with greater intention, showing up to the world more grounded and more alive. Here are 10 powerful ways that practicing conscious solitude can benefit your life. 1. Deep self-awareness. When you give yourself the gift of solitude, you create space for real self-discovery. Most people move through life in constant motion, reacting to conversations, responsibilities, and the pressures of the outside world. But when you step away intentionally and sit with yourself without distraction, something profound happens. You begin to hear your own voice more clearly. Not the voice shaped by other people's opinions or expectations, but the raw, authentic voice of who you really are. In solitude, you can reflect on your values, your patterns, and the way your heart responds to life. This kind of awareness isn't just intellectual, it's transformative. Because the more you know yourself, the less you can be swayed by the noise of the world. Solitude becomes a mirror, reflecting back truths that you might have overlooked in the busyness of life. Over time, you'll find that this awareness builds a sense of stability within you, a clarity that guides your choices and aligns you with your highest self. 2. Mental reset and clarity. Life has a way of cluttering the mind. Notifications, endless conversations, constant media, the voices of family, friends, co-workers, all of it builds into a kind of mental fog. And most people never take the time to clear it. Conscious solitude is like pressing a reset button on the mind. It's stepping back, taking a breath, and allowing the clutter to settle. Imagine a jar of muddy water that's been shaken. It's cloudy, messy, hard to see through. But when you set it down, the mud sinks to the bottom and the water clears. That's what solitude does for your thoughts. It slows down the mental noise so clarity can emerge. Suddenly, decisions that felt overwhelming don't seem so complicated. Problems that felt heavy lose their power. You return to life refreshed, with a sharper mind and a lighter heart. This clarity is priceless because it allows you to move through the world with more intention and less confusion. 3. Emotional regulation. In solitude, you learn how to sit with your emotions instead of running from them. Too often, we distract ourselves from what we feel by scrolling, by talking, by filling silence with constant noise. But when you practice conscious solitude, you give yourself permission to stop and simply notice what's rising inside. Maybe it's frustration, maybe it's sadness, maybe it's joy. Whatever it is, being alone teaches you to face it directly. Over time, you become fluent in your own emotional language. You know what triggers you, what soothes you, and what heals you. And more importantly, you build emotional independence. You stop relying on the world to calm you down or make you happy. Instead, you learn how to regulate yourself. This is powerful because emotions no longer control you. You learn to ride them like waves instead of drowning in them. Solitude becomes a teacher in resilience, giving you the tools to remain steady no matter what life throws your way. 4. Strengthened inner peace. There is a kind of peace that comes only from being comfortable in your own presence. Many people spend their whole lives searching for peace in external things, in relationships, possessions, distractions, but they miss the truth. Peace begins within. Solitude is how you cultivate it. When you intentionally choose to be alone, without needing validation or approval, you discover that you are already whole. You don't need someone to fill the silence. You don't need the constant reassurance of the outside world. You simply exist, and that existence is enough. This inner peace is unshakable because it doesn't depend on circumstances. When storms come, and they will, you remain calm, centered, grounded. You're no longer at the mercy of chaos because your peace isn't found in the world. It's found in yourself. Practicing solitude turns your inner world into a sanctuary, a place you can always return to no matter what is happening around you. 5. Increased creativity. Solitude is where creativity flourishes. Think of all the great artists, writers, inventors, and thinkers throughout history. So many of them sought out solitude because they understood its power. When you step away from the constant noise of society, your imagination comes alive. You begin to see connections you hadn't noticed before. Ideas flow more freely because there are no interruptions, no external voices pulling you in different directions. In solitude, you have the freedom to explore possibilities without judgment. Creativity is delicate. It requires silence and space to breathe. And when you cultivate solitude, you give your mind that oxygen. Whether it's writing, painting, problem-solving, or simply envisioning a new way of living, solitude fuels that spark. Over time, this creative energy doesn't just stay in your alone time, it bleeds into every part of your life, making you more resourceful, more innovative, and more alive. 6. Improved relationships. It may sound ironic, but solitude actually makes your relationships stronger. When you spend time alone intentionally, you're not withdrawing from people. You're preparing to meet them with greater depth. Because solitude teaches you self-awareness, peace, and emotional regulation, you show up differently in your connections. You become less needy, less reactive, more present. You no longer seek relationships to fill a void, but rather to share an overflow of your own wholeness. That changes everything. Instead of clinging to people out of fear of being alone, you choose to connect out of genuine desire. You listen more deeply. You value quality over quantity. You become intentional with who you allow into your space because you've learned the beauty of being comfortable in your own. And that intentionality strengthens your bonds. It creates relationships built on respect, authenticity, and love rather than dependence. 7. Empowerment and independence. Learning to be powerfully alone is one of the most empowering experiences a person can have. Because once you realize you are enough in your own company, you stop depending on external things to make you feel complete. You no longer fear loneliness because you know solitude is not loneliness. It's strength. This realization is liberating. It frees you from the opinions of others. It frees you from constantly needing attention or approval. It frees you from living reactively to what the world thinks. You stand taller because your worth is no longer tied to anything outside of you. This independence doesn't mean you reject people. It means you choose relationships and experiences freely, without desperation. It means you know how to create joy on your own terms. Solitude empowers you to be whole, and wholeness is the foundation of true freedom. 8. Greater focus and productivity. One of the greatest benefits of solitude is the ability to focus deeply. In a world that constantly pulls your attention in 1,000 directions, solitude allows you to pour your energy into one thing at a time. No notifications, no small talk, no constant demands, just pure, undivided attention. And when your focus sharpens, so does your productivity. You get more done in less time. You work with a sense of flow, fully immersed in what you're creating. This isn't about hustling harder, it's about working smarter with presence and precision. When you cultivate solitude, you create conditions for mastery. Whether it's in your career, your art, or your personal growth, solitude gives you the environment to go deeper, push further, and achieve more. And the best part? The satisfaction that comes from focused solitude isn't just about the outcome. It's about the process itself. You learn to enjoy the work, the flow, the discipline, the journey. 9. Spiritual grounding. Solitude has always been a sacred practice. Across cultures and traditions, people have sought solitude as a path to spiritual awakening. And whether or not you consider yourself religious, the truth remains. Solitude connects you to something greater. When you step away from the noise, you can finally hear the whispers of your soul. You can feel the rhythm of nature, the stillness of the present moment, the vastness of life itself. Solitude invites you into a deeper kind of awareness, one that reminds you that you are both small and infinite at the same time. This grounding isn't about escaping the world, it's about reconnecting with it from a higher perspective. You return with a sense of awe, gratitude, and reverence for life. Spiritual solitude fills your heart with peace and your mind with clarity, making every step you take in the world feel more intentional and sacred. 10. Cultivation of intentional living. At its core, practicing solitude is about living with intention. Most people are swept along by the current of life, reacting to whatever comes their way. But solitude pulls you out of that current. It gives you the chance to pause, reflect, and choose. You begin to ask deeper questions. What kind of life do I want to live? What kind of relationships do I want to cultivate? What kind of energy do I want to carry into the world? Solitude helps you slow down enough to answer those questions honestly. And once you do, your actions become aligned with your vision. You stop wasting energy on what doesn't matter. You stop saying yes to things that drain you. You stop living on autopilot. Instead, you move through life deliberately, with clarity and peace. And this intentional way of living is the very definition of freedom. It's a life designed from within, not dictated from outside. Conscious solitude is not about retreating from life. It's about returning to yourself so you can meet life with greater strength, clarity, and peace. It's the practice of remembering that you are whole, that your worth is not determined by the noise around you, and that the quiet within you holds answers the world cannot give. When you learn to be powerfully alone, you also learn how to be fully present with others, how to live with intention, and how to carry a calm confidence wherever you go. Solitude, when embraced with awareness, becomes a source of renewal, a sacred space where you recharge, realign, and rise stronger into the life you are meant to live.